This episode of Stay Risky was recorded and brought to you by Engine Room Recording Company.
I came around here looking for a way and found myself outside with everybody else.
All right, our guest this week is Mr. Cam O'Connor. Thank you for joining us here on the Stay Risky podcast. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, buddy. Absolutely. I'm excited about this. So we were connected via socials, but I believe we have a mutual friend, Nakasha.
Nakosha, yeah.
Yeah.
Nakasha.
I said Nakasha, didn't
Nakosha.
I? Nakosha.
So
Yeah.
it's like almost like you don't even know her.
She fucking hates me. Explosive tag. Got it. Nailed it. So what I know about you, comedy, which I'm excited to talk to you about, Rocket Ship, and then Bingo Boys. Did I get that correct?
I'm in league with Bingo Boys.
What does that mean?
It was one of Nakosha's bands.
Uh-huh.
They're a punk rock outfit, an excellent Indianapolis punk rock outfit.
I've heard good things.
I live with and I'm best friends with all of them.
Okay. All right. And now, do you play in the band?
I do not.
You do not
I don't
play in the
anything.
band. Okay.
I just I give a great deal of a damn.
Okay. So you go on tour
Great
with
deal
them
of a
now.
damn.
I went on tour.
That's
with
where
them.
I got confused.
Yeah, I go and help them, and
Are you the merch guy?
I'm a lot of things, but yeah.
I love talking to merch guys.
Yeah, so we were going to talk about comedy, but scratch
Yeah,
that.
fuck
Yeah,
that.
I
Let's
don't
talk
mind.
merch.
That probably makes you a comedian, is dealing with people at the merch table. There's probably a lot of characters there.
I mean, no offense to the boys, but probably more popular bands deal with more people at the merch
Sure. Yeah. That's part
So
of
you're just
it.
sitting
yeah.
there talking to yourself the whole time.
Well, we were with Mr. Clinton, the Pink Cigarettes, who
Yeah.
everyone's like,
Great band.
everyone loves them and has loved them. So
Yeah.
we were sharing a table, and so it was lonely on our side.
Oh.
But I got to watch how they did it.
And there's do you guys play with like Pat and the Pissers? I know they've really
They have
come up
not. They're
quick.
supposed to, though.
Okay, cool. That'd be a really good lineup.
Yeah, that band's ridiculous.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're super cool. So let's go ahead. Let's dig in. So tell us a little bit about yourself, especially with Rocket. Is it Rocket Comedy? Is
It's
what I'm
Rocket Ship Comedy.
Rocket Ship Comedy. Okay.
And it's not a real word. I've made sure.
Fair enough.
What, comedy?
Got it.
Hey,
Whoa. Yeah.
I'm an amateur.
Pass. No.
Next question.
We just run shows. I've been running shows for a long time. I started comedy in 2008
Okay.
at Crackers Broad Ripple.
Yeah.
Funny time to start comedy.
Yeah.
Probably
it
the
was
best time.
It was
Yeah.
whites only.
Oh, wow. You mean like 1908?
No, it was just a bunch of white dudes. And yeah, a bunch of divorced people.
That tracks.
But I started there, and like the thing was, I was trying to like get going. I'd gotten funny enough or whatever, or was getting some traction, and they wouldn't give me a week of. I wanted to host.
Yeah.
And they weren't taking me seriously, so they were closed on Sundays, and I was taught that people didn't do it a lot at that time, but like someone that runs their own show was like, everyone would be like, ooh, that's the guy.
Yeah.
And I kind of liked that.
Yeah.
But that's not what I wanted. I just wanted to start a damn show.
Sure.
So I could just
Yeah.
host it. And then now I'm learning how to host. I'm on stage. Then it's like, how can you not book me? So
Yeah.
that was the
Right.
idea. And then it became a little more than that because, let me catch my breath.
You're good.
I just realized how much shit I have to explain.
Well, good news is we have 3 hours.
I'm not up for 3 hours. Am I?
Yeah, you
No,
are.
Oh, God. I mean, I could talk for 3 hours.
We don't tell people ahead of time how long they're going to be on because we like
Yeah.
their initial reaction when we tell them on air.
Right. Yeah, I'll give you 15. Anyway.
That's fair. We'll take it.
So at the time when I started, because not everybody knows how the comedy scene kind of was, and it's like there were two clubs. There was Morty's on the north side, and there was Crackers. And I started Crackers. That's just the one that was in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I started there, but it turns out there was a ban where like if you did one club, not even for money, if you just performed on the other stage, you were banned from Crackers.
That's so weird.
And yeah, I think Morty's was cool with it, but we didn't want to risk it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I wasn't risky yet.
Right.
Hey.
Ah.
Is Crackers the one also that you can't swear or you can't say the F word
On the open mic, I believe.
on the open mic?
Yeah.
I always
Yeah,
thought it was
I'm pretty
such
sure
an
I've seen a
interesting-
show there where they
They swear
Yeah.
you just can't say the F
It
word.
was, I mean, and it was a good way to learn, personally. Because
Okay.
I like to not use it as a crutch.
I abuse that
Yeah.
fucking word.
Yeah.
But it's effective.
It is. Yeah.
So
Fucking
anyway,
works.
that was a thing there. But so the idea was like, over a little bit of time, though, after a while, we're all doing shows and we're meeting all these other comics that we
Right.
didn't know.
Right.
And we kind of all had an affinity for each other. And then so now we had this show we were going to start. It was me and this other dude, and he left in disgrace, so I'm not going to say his name.
Sure.
And he left me hanging, and I had to figure everything out myself. But the idea was that we would have comics from each club on our show, doing shows together.
Okay.
And then doing as much time as we fucking wanted.
Right.
Instead of the 5 minutes at the open mic, or 3 sometimes if you didn't bring enough people or whatever. And so it was wild because like we could control everything all of a sudden and put on good shows. And like the club weekend would end on like Saturday night. So we would offer the middle acts, not the headliners that people were buying tickets to see, the middle act, the guy that does 20, guy or gal that does 20 or 25 in the middle, the sweet spot.
Yeah.
And then we come have them close our show.
Oh, cool.
Feel awesome for leave town, make a little money, and then we can put the openers on, and they get to work with these comics and
That's smart.
see the good comics and get better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was this honestly a perfect storm.
Yeah, it's great.
And I started the show at the Sinking Ship.
Yep.
Is where
and that was
R.I.P.
the sinking ship in Broad Ripple,
Yeah,
not
the
the one on the
49th
north
in
side that
College,
used to be.
the
Yeah.
That
49th
place
in
was so
college.
good. I'm so sad that they.
it was
closed down.
good. The first half was good. The second half, I don't know. And I mean, the place changed my life. I met all of my friends currently that I know right now. Either like we went there and started this show, or I met them there from working there, and all that.
And I know, and we don't have to dig too much into it, but I do know that there was a moment with that area, something in the neighborhood possibly, but that they didn't allow you to do the comedy there. So you guys got moved over to Sabbatical because David Quaiser was like, I got you.
Yeah, him and Kevin.
Yeah, and I remember that because that's the first show I ever saw was at Sabbatical, and that was
Which one did you see? Do you remember by chance?
I don't.
Was it good? They weren't all good at Sabbatical.
It was okay.
Because nothing against Sabbatical. They immediately opened, but like they weren't doing the same business.
Yeah.
They didn't do that, and so I couldn't pay people.
Yeah.
So like I couldn't really
Yeah.
make a thick lineup.
Right.
And almost go ahead.
Yeah, but no. I was Jeff Sample was bartending.
Yes, Jeff
and,
Sample and Matt Aaron, that beautiful
good friend.
artist.
Oh yeah, love
And
Matthew.
Corey Ewing.
Oh gosh, I forgot all about Corey. Yeah,
That
he's
was a
great.
star-studded damn.
That
Gina
play-
worked there.
Sabbatical
TJ
is,
Nichols.
Yeah, Sabbatical's like, man, that time frame was just such a special. We used to do radio shows there,
I'm so glad you brought that up.
and we had multiple
on the
bands
patio?
play. Yeah,
Yeah.
Me and Darren Snyder and some other guys.
I remember Darren, bass guy.
Huh?
Bass player.
Piano.
No, piano player, but he
yeah.
owns and runs Indie and Tune Radio,
Goodness gracious.
and has been doing that for 16 years. So yeah.
Look
but-
at us. Look
But
at
that
us.
was
It's a bunch of old guys hanging out.
No, because I forgot how beautiful of an era that was. Because the shows weren't good, and my life wasn't good. But Sabbatical was so warm and welcoming.
It was a
like,
safe space from what I remember, and it was just like it was very creative focused. Like, and that was what I love about Quaiser is like if a band wanted to play a show or somebody needed a space to do their art, they were the first to be like, "Let's go,
Yeah,
let's do it."
He made me feel good.
Yeah, they had poet nights. I mean, they did everything there. It was great.
I've always heard that because I've only been in Indiana for about 10 years, but I heard Broad Ripple was like the music live entertainment, like that was, or at least that area.
That's what I was told, but I moved here. Okay, I lived in Indy like for a long time, but I came to Broad Ripple probably in like 07, and I saw none of that.
Well,
I think it was
because
the
the
90s.
patio
Maybe
had
Spin.
closed,
I think
right?
Spin was open at one point, so I got to
Right.
see a couple of shows there, but it wasn't really.
When the patio was open and the Vogue and the patio, because you would play the patio to get to the Vogue, it was like a launch.
Wasn't
pad
it like
thing.
the late 90s,
I
early
missed
2000s?
that.
Was Broad Ripple was like the
b-
best it had
bumping.
been.
Yeah, and you had other little spots too that would do live music, but I think 07, 08 is kind of when all that's
Yeah, I
kind of
didn't-
shifted.
I don't remember seeing any.
Yeah, and then when Sabbatical moved, because Sabbatical used to be locals only over by the Mousetrap.
Yes, okay, that's where shows there too.
Yeah.
I see shows there locally.
And so they moved over. So when Sabbatical started, we started putting music out on the patio again. Like I ran an acoustic series. There were tons of other people that were doing stuff. And so music started to really kind of come up and about. And you would see, we actually were able to, weirdly enough, start to do shows at the Vogue also. We had some local events at the
Hot damn.
Vogue. So it became the launch pad
fears,
sort of for a
yeah.
little bit. And it was, I don't know, like a couple of years. I mean, it was like 3 years maybe. And then they shut down and Quaiser moved to Florida. And now he is living the life down there. But
yeah, he's been a happy guy for
it
a while
was
now.
it was a very, very fun couple of years there. Again, really just a great community of creatives
Yeah.
in general.
He didn't. I mean, he let us do whatever the hell we wanted. He
Yeah.
was-
Yeah, as long as people showed up and bought stuff, he didn't care.
Yeah, there was one, the first one, whatever was, there was a lot going on in my life at that point, but like
For all of us,
I
yes.
had That was bad. Like but like the first show I ran there was just this great lineup, and like I blacked out. I didn't eat that day or some shit. And I think I cut my thumb in the kitchen at work, and so I bled out a bunch, and then like went and just drank and ran a show like everything was normal.
Not a good combo, bro.
And
Comedy.
but like they had I got to watch, because it was Dave, I got to watch the video footage of me.
Oh, did you? He's like, hey, come here.
No, I asked him because
you asked him?
leaving.
Okay.
I remember leaving.
Did you kill?
No, I meant just me walking around the bar.
Yeah.
Me like going to puke in that trash can.
See,
and,
I
like,
could see Quaiser being like, I got something for you. Come here.
Yeah. No, I knew what happened. I was like, hey, is it possible that because I remember waking up like I lived in a lot of places at that point, and I remember I had not lived at this one for a while, and that was where my buddy took me to. And
Yeah.
I woke up on that.
am
I was
I?
like, why? Where? At what? Had like $5, and I was like, okay. You know, and I was like thinking, I ran that show. Did I pay everybody? Like, you know, what did I say? Who did I
What
see?
happened?
Who did
Shit,
I...
if I have $5, then 4 artists didn't get paid.
Well,
so-
it hurts.
So you said you moved here in 2008 and you started. Let's just say you moved here like this past year. What would it look like trying to start a comedy thing in today's age?
Easy.
Really?
Very
a lot
easy.
easier?
In many ways. For other fucking comedy shows every night of the goddamn. There's so many shows.
So you've seen a positive uptick.
Oh, the scene is great. Yeah.
I've heard it's really healthy. Our good friend Kyle Buck,
Yeah.
we talked to him periodically, and he's even said like
and
it's
he's
just,
putting on his own shows
he's
at
run-
Wild Eye.
I'm pretty sure he booked me once. Probably a couple of years ago. He's run something on the north side, maybe. Fuck, I don't
Well,
even know
he's
where
doing it
was.
now at Wild Eye down
Yeah,
in
he's a
Fountain
dad.
Square.
Yeah. And I see him a bit. He does. Yeah. And
Well, he's been doing the
music.
music and comedy thing for a minute now.
Yeah.
He's a good man.
But yeah, it's like because music was really on its way back up right before the pandemic because like, you know, the Battle of the Bands was happening. There was a pretty good scene. I was playing in a band at the time and it just seemed like there was a lot more availability. But then now, like, you know, post-pandemic, things been weird. But yeah, it looks like comedy's just been just shrugging forward in Indianapolis.
We
seems to
have a
be-
microphone.
Yeah.
That's all. You can put it on.
You can go sit 10 feet, 30 feet back. And
Yeah. I
it's
saw
the
a
same
porch
experience.
today that looked good for comedy.
It's very low maintenance.
Well, it had the lattice on this side for a little sound. You know,
There should be a comedy porch fest.
That'd be hilarious.
Just
you
comics
just-
on different porches, just telling their jokes, hoping.
Or it's
Son of a
touring
bitch.
in a neighborhood and you have just like a rolling speaker
Yeah.
with you and they open the door, you have to tell them a joke in like 30 seconds.
Well, I had the idea. I seen, by Good Morning Mamas.
Oh
There's that place
Mama
with like
Corolla's,
the tile and
Yeah.
granite. That
breakfast
house though
place.
that across the street that
Yeah.
has like tile that sells tile and granite or whatever. But they got that truck that has like it's a big flatbed and then it has like this thing for like putting signs on or whatever. I
Yeah.
want to just put like a brick, like fake brick wall
Perfect.
on that, and then you
Make it
drive
a
there.
Yeah.
You just drive there. Here's where the shows are, and they're like, "What?" I don't know.
Are you a-
I've seen it.
Are you a fan of Mark Norman?
Mr. Late Night.
Yeah, he did a thing in New York when the pandemic was happening. He did like on the street comedy, and he would just say like pandemic jokes to people, and they're like, "Fuck you." Guys. Like it was so funny. But he just walks around with a microphone and a little speaker, and he was just like making jokes about masks and shit.
That's funny.
One of my favorite things in comedy, and I love going to comedy shows, just a little tougher with kids and stuff. I don't get to go out very much, but is a comedian kind of on the rise. It's got that buzz, and they do the crowd work shows where they are also trying out new material. I was lucky enough to see a female comedian who now has her own late show.
Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor Tomlinson.
And we went to Bloomington, and she was working on new material. And it was at what's the one in Bloomington? The
Comedy Attic.
It was awesome. But like most of it, like a good back half of the show is just her talking shit with random people in the audience. And it was so good watching the
interaction.
Yeah, it was so neat. I love those ones because it's neat to see them really honing their skills and really owning it. And then after that, she did this massive tour and was selling out freaking, Coliseum, or not Coliseum, but Butler Clues Hall, things like that. Like,
Jeez.
yeah.
I saw Carlin there.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Jeez.
What
Throwback.
right now, like when it comes to like, who are some of your favorite comedians and they can be local too, like don't have to be on a bigger level, but
Well, obviously, I mean, George Carlin and Chris Rock are probably why I started.
okay,
I don't know, just whatever age I was at, those guys were, to me, they just made the most sense.
sure,
Smart people. I like listening to smart people.
that helps.
Locally, Oh boy, because when you name people, it's the people you didn't name.
Right,
all
then
that
they
And
get
you don't
shitty
have
stuff.
to. Yeah, I was just curious, like genuinely curious. Yeah.
But no one would have a problem with me saying Willie Bostick. No one here would mind if I said I love Willie Bostick.
Okay.
That's your local comedian to look up. He just hosted at Helium this weekend for Dusty Slay,
Oh wow.
and I can't think of a more perfect show for Willie.
What style is he?
I mean, he's this clean, brilliant, sweet, just natural, pure stand-up comic.
Cool.
He looks at shit that you don't look at, and he's like,
That's the best.
Like-
yeah.
yeah. He just has a bit now about the middle gas at the pump. Have you ever thought about the middle gas?
Yeah.
So is that the plus usually or the
It doesn't matter.
It's the marginal.
marginal? Yeah.
It doesn't
yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
It makes premium look so much better.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell the joke, but
Yeah. No.
he
You're,
that's just he said, and it was like that week we were hanging out. We were gonna go to the open mic on Monday, and he was like, "Well, this week I decided I wasn't gonna think about." He paints as his job, so it's time to think. And he was like, "I just thought about gas this week," and he just had like 8 minutes about gasoline, and
That's great. That's funny.
Do you find an importance in bombing? Like, do you think a comedian needs to bomb a few times to really know whether
don't
it's
even
for them or
know.
not?
I don't even know. I mean, yeah, obviously you can have sets where shit just doesn't. It ain't gonna happen.
Well, I mean,
but,
like you don't plan for it, but what I'm saying is
No,
like,
I'm saying like the bomb isn't the. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to defeat the term bomb.
Yeah.
Bomb is the extreme version of it not going well. But
Sure.
like sometimes my smartest, most like brilliant comic friends like will tell half hour of a set, but like one line didn't work,
Mhm.
and they're coming off stage beating themselves up. So I think the bomb would be like if you can't handle how bad it went, then you bombed.
Well, no.
Sure.
But I'm getting
Well,
what you're saying.
yeah,
the
yeah.
bombing's necessary. You got a scar.
Well, the
You
type
gotta
of
fail.
the type of bomb that I'm thinking of is the entire show is a shit show. Like they're not paying attention. You're getting booed. Like so.
I've never been booed, but that sounds like that sounds
So
terrible.
this didn't
Just a
happen.
crowd of people that hate you. Not they didn't enjoy it, but
Yeah.
Kyle and I talked about this. Kyle and I talked about this because he hosts our Freeform
has he
series.
been booed?
No, not booed. No. But the joke definitely did not land how it always does. Because
That sucks. Yeah.
he has a back pocket joke that I won't reveal because it's hilarious. And if you go to Freeform, he'll probably tell it.
Yeah.
He's told it at least 5 or 6 times. But there was one night in particular.
It was the wrong crowd.
It was the absolute wrong crowd for the right joke.
It really was.
And no one laughed.
we did. You and
I
laughed.
died. I was because we have
And
like
then a little more because no one was
well,
laughing.
I knew the joke because like I love comedy, like I'm a comedy fan,
Mhm.
and I even talked to him about it. I'm like, dude, like, and he knew too, like because I asked him, I was like, did you really think that joke was gonna? He's like, no, I knew it wasn't gonna work, but I spaced up there, and I was
that's
like, well,
good.
might as well go down swinging because like me and Ben laughed, but no one in the crowd laughed, and it was so. I just thought it was fun because like I always like seeing Kyle do well, but like I
and
know
you get used to it.
yeah.
You do. You
Yeah,
do.
and but I know for him, like being a true comedian, and like him and I talk about it too. We talk about like bombing sets or just like sets that just don't go well. But
Mhm.
I guess what I'm getting at is I think it's like you know, you got to fall to know what a scrape is like, kind of thing. Like
Love it. It's never comedy. At least I don't know how music is, but like comedy is mostly not fun.
music's entirely not fun.
Okay.
You have to be a masochist. To
But I
do
mean,
most
like,
music.
most
there's, like-
expensive hobby.
You'll do 5-6 shows a year that are awesome that make you put up with the next couple
Sure.
months. Kind
Well,
of
I mean,
thing.
playing in bands like that,
Well,
you have
well,
your great shows.
good news
and
with
Yeah, but you guys don't have to do fucking open mics, man. We
there's
have
open
music-
mics.
No, but you
Oh.
can make music without doing open mics.
Sure.
That's true.
We have to do
Do the open mics.
What is the best like approach when you're working on a set? Like, do you work it out at home? Like, is it in front of a mirror? Do you have friends come over and you're like, hey, I'm going to run through some stuff because I got a show coming up. I need your guys'
Ooh.
feedback. Like, is there, because I'm
Some
thinking
people
like,
might. I don't know. Keep going. I'm sorry.
no, you're fine. But it's because it is such a craft. It really is. And I truly do believe that I have enough friends that have been comedians and just talking to them, like, you know,
It's a thing. It
it's
takes
a
work.
thing. Yeah. And I think some people don't understand that. So could you give some insight for those that are listening?
Any of my comedy friends know that I should not talk about set structure because they're gonna be like, "Is he really okay?"
Okay.
But I would say what I've learned is I'm just saying, like, I mean, basically my thing is I lived with a funny dude when I started, and so like I'd rock around. I was always thinking, writing shit down,
Yeah.
and I'd run it past him and he'd laugh and I'd be like, cool. And then I'd go tell it. Maybe it worked, maybe it didn't. But the thing about it was that I know him and he knows me. So he knows how I'm trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Whereas like strangers don't know necessarily.
Sure.
So like it wouldn't hit. But like anyway, that's how I started writing jokes. And a couple of those hit. And then so now my set would be like, okay, I have these 2 good jokes.
Yeah.
And then eventually it was like, then I had enough jokes. So it was like, okay, now you think about the order. And I think the main thing that I've learned recently, I don't apply it to my own craft. I don't call it a craft.
Okay. I think it is.
I'm saying
Yeah.
the version that I do.
Sure.
I'm just good at comedy because I've been doing it long enough.
But you're
You can get
doing
good at
it,
anything.
and you got to practice that.
But like, but I'm saying as far as like the mistake people will make is you'll see a nice, cute, sweet, a comic that has nice, cute, sweet jokes, but then they open by saying something that is not like that.
Yeah, they set the tone weird, and then they go into their...
You didn't establish that you're a darling yet, and then you said some asshole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, you can say the asshole thing at the end after you start, and it's like that's the only thing is because it was I will name Blake Hammond in Cincy, great writer, and when I used to live in Cincy, say you do 2 shows a night, I would ask Blake to watch my first set, 25-minute set, and then I would ask him what went wrong, and he would go, these jokes go before these. This should be here because this needs to be established in order.
It's like a set list for a band.
Yeah, you're trying to have down tempo, up tempo.
But that right there, everything you just said, that's a craft.
Absolutely, it's just corny for me to call it.
So what you're saying is I was right and you were wrong. Cool. So
I've said that a lot.
And Ben's usually not right, so let him bask in this
and he's
moment.
never right at home, probably.
Oh God, no.
You're
Even
here,
my
you can
kids.
win. No, because he's got a good life.
So here's the best. You'll like this. So my oldest son, I'm always trying to convince them that I'm funny. Like that's the dad
old?
thing. He's 11 now.
Oh, that's a good age.
And so we're eating
That's
dinner.
the honest age.
We're So we're eating dinner. This is like a year ago, and I was saying something to him.
So he's 10 at the time of the story.
Yeah. And he's rolling his eyes, and I'm like, "What?" I was like, "That's funny. I'm the funniest person you know." He goes, "You are the second funniest person I know." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Who's the funniest?" He goes, "Everyone else." Oh. And like my wife turns, she goes, "Oh,
He's got chops.
Burn.
But he probably just saw that on TV. I'm not convinced yet.
Fair enough.
That's nasty.
Fair. Yeah, I know.
He's
It's
nasty.
great. Yeah.
What was the thing? What was the "Are you happy?" when your kids asked you?
So we went out to dinner with one of our good friends, Cole, and he loves hanging out with my kids and stuff. And we went to this Chinese restaurant, had a nice little meal and everything going. And one of my kids at the time wanted the miso soup, and so they bring him out some miso soup, and he didn't realize how like hot it was. And so, anyways, he ended up
flavorless.
but he ended up like spilling it, and then like when that spilled, they over compensated, then knocked over all the water, like the entire table, just food went everywhere. There was also a tablecloth at this Chinese restaurant, so that slid and just chaos. And I'm just sitting there looking at Cole, staring at my kids. I'm like, what just happened? And my youngest looks, goes, "Are you still happy, Dad?" I was like, no, not currently.
Well, actually, if you really want to ask, I've never been happy.
Yeah. Define happy, son.
I'll never forget that.
That's
So
very
you're more into production now, putting on the show. So what shows are you putting on in the area?
currently, I have the newest show I have is on a Wednesday a month. Whatever Wednesday I can get the talent that I want for a good enough show instead of just running it to run it. It's Eddie's Bar Turner's at the Stutz building.
Yeah.
And,
Our friend Fred Miller plays there,
Nice.
music and stuff.
And I just met that guy, and I think I'm supposed to know him.
Great dude.
I
He
met
actually, we just released his Stay Risky podcast.
I know. I saw that.
Yeah.
It confused me. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So now I'm here.
things
Where
are
did he
just-
sign? Did he sign the wall?
No.
Well, hey, great news is
He goes, I
there's
don't sign walls.
Yeah.
great news is there's like 15 creative people in Indianapolis, and they all know each other. So chances are you're going to just see and hear the same people.
I think I know all 15.
Yeah.
So where are you doing shows and all that
Oh,
stuff?
Turner's in the Stutz building, and it's every Wednesday. So the next, do you know when this will air by chance? How far out should I promote?
A couple months.
Okay. To be determined, the show, but it'll be on the way. It's, just follow Rocket Ship Comedy. Eddie's gonna, post about it. So follow Turner's Indy. So I don't know.
What is that structure like? So you guys have a couple. So you said you had to collect your talent. So you have to find your people. So are you taking in some local people, some out of state? How's that being
Great
put
question.
together?
He got me sponsors. He got me PBR,
Nice.
Old Style,
Yeah.
and Johnson Brothers Liquor. So I can.
Get everybody hammered.
I can book.
I can't
folks,
pay you, but
man. Like
free beer.
and so basically, like you want one big name on a show.
Mhm.
You want
To
the
draw
big
everybody else.
dog, and I'm not doing that. I'm just making them thick as hell, and I'm making like essentially
As many heavy hitters you can put on there.
at least two. And people like the last show we did in January was is two people that like it was Ryan Singer and Stuart Huff, and no one knows who they are. But in this town, in my shows with the people I know,
Yeah.
they'll all come out of the woodwork
Nice.
To go see them.
each
Yeah.
of them individually, and they'd never worked together before.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, well, what if two
Yeah.
of my absolute favorite just came and so it was like, and it's cool to be able to do that. But if you don't have money, you can't.
It's hard
do
to do that.
We do that. We do that with music, like Freeform for us, which is a show we put on in Carmel. Is literally artists we love, and we just are like, I wonder if what happens if we put these artists
Isn't
together.
that fun?
It's great. I love it.
Good time.
Yeah.
We also put it in an area and a venue that doesn't get that kind of music.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a nice like cabaret, like high class lounge, and we bring in punk bands.
Yeah,
that
that's great.
do a,
Shithead night.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they do acoustic renditions of their songs to like MTV Unplugged. So it's a lot of fun.
That's
and
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like it's the night that the staff can let their hair down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They want to
can
work
have
that
fun.
night.
Yeah, it's super chill. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a good crowd too. We always get really fun people up there just
What
hanging
night
out.
does that take?
We do them on Select Wednesdays in the spring and the fall.
So I should
Hey,
say Select Wednesday. I
Select
should say
Wednesdays.
Select.
Yeah.
Well, I'm real big on like when I look at calendar, I look at other things that are going on in the area. Like I
Right.
don't want to put on a Wednesday show if like the weekend before was a big holiday. People aren't probably going out to that.
How great would it be to put
Valentine's
them
Day. I
out?
was like, we'll skip Valentine's
Right? Yeah,
Day.
yeah.
How great would it be to put them out in the foyer right before the door, and they're doing a comedy show walking into Freeform?
I would love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you have to convince them to stay out and watch the comedy show.
Yeah, I was like, I don't feel like I want to do that show. I don't want to. Oh, they're walking by. You say I've seen that on YouTube.
It's,
it
it's
doesn't
a
go well.
it's a hotel, so there's plenty of foot traffic.
There's plenty of foot traffic. Yeah.
Well, that would be your crowd work, people.
What do you have any shows coming up that aren't the rocket ship side for yourself?
I did, but it got moved, and it's in April, so there's no. I am not booked out that far. Like I say, I just what I have is Middle Ground Comedy Festival. That's the last week of April, so I don't know if that'll.
Middle ground. Where's that being taking place?
That was at Black Circle last year. We had 4 days,
nice.
and it was a success.
They're doing a lot of great stuff at Black Circle.
They really do,
We
yeah.
we had Romanus Fest last.
Oh yeah,
Summer.
yeah. Buddy, I like Mr. Josh Powell.
Oh yeah, Powell's,
and then the
Powell's
Pistols
cool.
are on Romanus,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that guy seems like a nice.
You know,
guy.
Josh's new album is more like death metal, like heavy metal leaning.
I knew that he had just started doing that a couple months back.
He played. They played one of the songs, so I had to leave early from Romanus Fest, and like Joshua Powell. And,
I had to work that night, and I got to see him at Loom. Him and Cam.
Okay.
Him and Cam Lockwood were at Newman. He was in the glow.
of that show.
Yeah.
That show was amazing. I mean, when
Yeah.
I left, there was a good like 300 people there.
I think
But-
he was calling it Deftones or something. Deftones. Josh
Yeah,
Powell.
Yeah, basically, because we were I was leaving and I heard them do like a metal breakdown and he started screaming and I was like, because I had to go do another job. I was like, of course when I leave, because I'm in a metal band. I was like, of course when I leave, he starts screaming because like he was playing all of his like regular Joshua Powell
Right.
music, like like kind of that like
The
indie
hits.
folk, yeah.
About
And then
the
he just
Ghost
starts
dancers or whatever.
yeah, and then they like 100,000 werewolves or whatever.
Yeah.
But then he just busted out like this metal shit at the end. And I was like, that was awesome. I wish I could have stayed for that. But no, yeah, just shout out to Black Circle because they're doing cool stuff. So 4-day comedy festival at the end of April.
Well, and that was last year. This year we're gonna have Saturday or Friday and Saturday at Black Circle, but Thursday and Sunday are gonna be at Half Liter.
Nice.
So it's
Oh,
gonna be
cool.
for our bigger because Black Circle can only hold so many people
Right.
with seats.
Well, they have the
Um,
outside.
Yeah, fuck the outside.
Too
we
hot.
had last year it was in April, so it was cool. We had inside we had that stage, and then outside we had a tent over their stage, so
Okay.
it was like this tiny little comedy club.
Okay.
And it was actually really cool, but weather is a thing,
Right.
and temperature
Sure.
and all of that. It was
It could be
cool.
snowing or it could be 100 degrees. in
Well, I
April.
had 2 shows running at a time.
Hey.
It was really cool.
That is
you know
really
what I
fun.
mean? You're going,
Yeah.
all right, how's it? Okay, all right.
Sorry, I'll be at
Yeah.
B stage.
But it was like close enough. So you
yeah,
could,
that's cool.
because I used to run in Cincy, they used to have this beer and comedy festival called Brouhaha.
Oh yeah.
And since I
Alright.
worked at Go Bananas, that's a long story of its own. I was helping with stuff, so I helped with this festival, and it was, I don't know, 2 football fields apart, like 5 stages,
Oh cool.
and there's this giant master list, and you're just running around,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, I think we could do 2. I can't
Yeah,
do 2 stages,
absolutely.
But this year we're not doing that because weather was a thing. There was hail. I did like
At
2
end of
times there
April.
were hail. Yeah. And we had like a
Wild.
beautiful.
Ben has a story with Hale. He got
Yeah, but it'll be at half liter in a beautiful event space with a beautiful bar, beautiful chair.
Do you find in the comedy scene, or is it normal where things aren't really booked out? You kind of alluded to like, not a whole lot planned just yet this year. Is a lot of stuff done kind of month to month, or?
Just for me, it is just
Okay.
everything now is pre and post festival.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm trying to get everything. Like once I can get that April 10th Turner show done, now I can just leave that shit alone.
Sure.
And just
Yeah.
because it's all gonna be festival for a while.
So when you started out, did you envision yourself putting on the shows, or you always just wanted to be a performer? Did not.
Did not know that this would be the thing. Did not know I'd be good at it. Did not know I'd be such a natural at it. Honestly, like it's like going this long at it. Like I can admit that
Yeah.
I'm good at something, and it's cool. Like when I started comedy, I was 28, and I always wished I'd started younger, but I don't, because I wouldn't have been able to deal with how awful it is on your brain to do solo performing
Okay.
and like the battle against yourself. Like I
Right.
feel I'm like, why doesn't this kid get? Because the kid's 22, he hasn't seen a damn
Right,
thing, and
right.
they're not going to get the same. So I like to be like there were certain cats that like cats. How old am I? All right, daddy-o. But like certain guys that were a little more further along in comedy took the time to tell me things or tell me I was funny, and I wanted to like make sure that I do that, or make sure it's being done for everybody
Yeah.
that comes up in this scene.
The
Like,
aspiring. Yeah.
I just care about it. Like I want everyone to. We can all be awesome, and it used to be very, very competitive. I imagine there's probably still a little bit of that, but it's a healthy competition in Indy, and it's.
Well,
Like-
there's a weird misconception that like if you're a band, like in the music sense, if you're a band and there's another band that's very similar to you in the same area, that you can't like them or you can't support them. And I feel like that's just bullshit, because the more bands, the more comedians you have in an area that can pick up and do shows or,
I
help
don't
each other
know,
out.
man. I think I'm gonna start some music beefs.
I mean, not too hard.
It doesn't involve
Start
me.
some
I'm
rumors.
not
Yeah,
involved in
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Why would they suspect me?
Yeah.
And why would I lie to them?
Exactly.
Even better. Yeah.
But no, I mean, like, I feel like it's the same thing with comedy. Like, you want to have you want good comedians around you, because if your shows suck, then nobody's going to come to them.
Yeah, and it makes you, if you watch a good band, you're kind of like, shit, man, we fucking need to do something a little different. Like they're good. I want to be, or whatever. You know what I mean? Our version of good.
Yeah.
Like it's healthy to hang out, and it's fun because sometimes you're the only ones at the show, so it's good to like each other.
And you see a band or a comedian before they really take off, and you get like that private show feel, and you're like, I knew them before this.
For sure.
It's a cool story.
Yes.
In bigger cities, it's really cutthroat. I know, like music, like New York's famous for the bands being really hard on each other. Comedians are tough
Yeah,
too.
comedy's tough in New York.
But
too.
like, do you find that it's super competitive at all?
There's room for
around
everyone here, dog.
Yeah,
We're
okay.
good. We got space.
No,
We got
that's good.
yards. Every house
That's-
has a yard.
That's
Yeah.
what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. Because like it always makes me sad when I hear like about bands playing in New York and they're like, yeah, the band before them like trashed their cymbals and stuff like that. But that crap happens, man.
bullshit,
Like they do
yeah.
horrible.
I like
things.
everybody, but I do like cut the cord every now.
Yeah.
I pay off the sound guy. No, this guy
Yeah.
is not to succeed.
You just go up and like knock the mic stand over for no
He
reason.
looked at a girl I like.
you know when the punchline is, and you're just holding the cable. Oops.
Oops.
I
My
stepped on
own
it.
Corded mic and speaker.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break and we're gonna come back with our guest Cam O'Connor.
This episode's Trailblazer shout-out goes to Gleaners. Gleaners was founded in 1980 by a group of citizens committed to the belief that no one should go hungry. Since that time, they've grown to be the largest hunger relief organization in Indiana. As one of 200 member food banks in the Feeding America network, Gleaners provides nutritious food to roughly 1/3 of the food insecure population in Indiana. They achieve this through their own initiatives and by serving as a wholesale distributor through a committed network of more than 300 network partners in their 21-county service area, including emergency food banks, soup kitchens, and shelters. If you'd like to learn more or get involved with this great organization, head to gleaners.org today.
We are back in with Mr. Cam O'Connor. He was talking about how bald Ben is.
What the fuck today, dude?
Sorry. So we had my hairstylist in here before, and I kept having to say, for anyone that doesn't know, Ben is bald. So for anyone that doesn't know, Ben is bald. So we were talking about comedy festivals, right?
Hold on, I have a moment. Because you got the beautiful long hair.
The locks.
And
yes.
I just because of being dumb and time going fast, I had some long hair recently, but okay, I'm coming clean.
There we go.
See that?
Yeah.
Imagine that with long hair.
Hey,
He just showed us his bald spot. For
I
those
mean,
that
But
are
I got a
listening.
nice haircut though.
Yeah,
but
you have a nice
I'm
haircut.
okay.
You do have a nice haircut.
with comedy though,
But I want to tell everybody so when they see it, they don't say anything about it. Now you know.
Don't draw attention.
Just look at it and try not to look at it.
there was so I listen to a lot of comedians, like podcasts, stuff like that. But a lot of them talk about like nobody wants to see a pretty comedian. Like people usually want to see someone
And
who's
it's been working against me the whole time.
that's why haven't gone out of Indy, brother. No, but
I've left, dog,
nice.
but not much.
But do you know what I mean? Like a lot of times, like there's a lot more natural talent in someone who maybe didn't grow up as the popular kid, or like they use comedy to kind of like get noticed, get attention. Do you feel like from your comedy path, like what got you interested in doing comedy? Like, were you wanting something more? Were you always a funny kid?
First off, great question. Was always a funny kid, and it's definitely a fucking attention thing. I have a good family, but
Fuck them.
No. But I kept dwindling in like the numbers kept getting bigger. Like I was born an only child, and then like they were divorced, and then each of them had a kid, and then one of them had a kid, and then there were all of a sudden 5 new brothers, and
Right.
so I just kept becoming a little more. I don't know. Maybe I allowed it, but a background figure,
Okay.
if you would. And I would say that I describe comedians as people that have always had a lot to say, but aren't used to being listened to. And everyone has to listen for a little
Right.
bit, kind of thing. But yeah, it's always been, always wanted to be funny. Always that was in my way. If I could make adults laugh, I thought that was cool. As a kid, I thought I fucking name something cooler.
Yeah.
Making a damn adult laugh. They watch actual comedy.
Right.
But I definitely watched like all those little like whatever on the weekend they'd have those little 5 comedian shows where there were 5 comics
Yeah.
On Comedy Central.
like Bob Zaney or whatever it was at late at night, and like watching like what
HBO
Ellen
used-
DeGeneres and
Yeah.
like Judy Tenuta. Crazy.
HBO used to do like a comedy night thing
Yeah,
too,
they had
and,
Def Comedy. They
yeah.
had that Def Jam and all the Carlin specials.
you
Which
know.
why aren't the Carlin specials on HBO? they're from HBO. Why? Anyway, sorry, I just don't know why.
Different regime.
Yeah, well, we got YouTube. Piss off. Yeah, but it came from that, and it was like, I don't know. I think my life didn't really necessarily start until then, because like when I was 28 and started doing stand up, because finally like I found something that gave me a fucking thrill, and I felt like somebody. I hadn't always.
You had
I
a
was
goal
always-
to work
I
towards.
was always too little to be a sports guy. I was a shitty student. You know, I got in trouble all the time, but not enough to be hot. Or what, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and it was like, or not in the right ways, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, I was always in detention and shit. So, and I couldn't sit still in class. I was smart as fuck. I was everybody's like, or not everybody's, but I was the worst student in the class, but probably the favorite. in
Let's
an
call it
odd way.
everybody's. I like everybody's.
All right,
It fits better.
Everybody's.
In music, most like musicians, creatives don't really look kindly on things like the Grammys nowadays. For comedians, I've been curious about this. When it comes to Netflix, do you guys like? Is there some sort of like everyone kind of is like, ugh, another Netflix comedy special? Because even the comics that get them are like talking shit about Netflix during their special.
The restrictions on it.
Yeah, like is
Oh.
there any sort of like do you guys all look at that and go, oh, that's really cool they got Netflix, or is that kind of like
I don't think anything you get is not cool. Like,
Okay.
I think awards, as far as you say Grammys, like I think awards for art are bullshit.
agreed?
Any kind of art or anything. I mean, you can give like, I don't know, like you can mention something or
Yeah.
have a celebration, but like to have it like it's a
Yeah, I
competitive
agree.
or like,
Yeah.
it would
Well, that
no-
or they give an award to a band that's been around for 50 years. It's
they're
like,
trying to
okay,
push-
cool.
push the record,
The
sales.
legacy,
It's-
yeah,
it's,
but, like,
it's a mission.
Give it to someone who's new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like Netflix, as far as Netflix, someone getting a Netflix special, like that's fucking
It's a
dope.
big deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just
Well-
because it's a Netflix special doesn't mean I'm gonna like it.
Oh yeah,
I
I've
like-
watched some horrible
I'm gonna-
comics
I like
on
it.
Netflix specials. Like I'm like,
Well,
how did they get this?
Like Shane Gillis and that crowd, they talk about like YouTube is a lot more powerful for them because
Okay.
Netflix, there's a lot more hoops to jump through with that. Also, they have certain types of people they want to be on the platform. But then with YouTube, yeah, you're fully uncensored, fully unfiltered, and then you can interact with
Yeah.
those fans.
and you can monetize that.
and you
too.
can
Yeah.
you can
Mhm.
well, you can't, quote unquote, you can, but YouTube is like a fortress when it comes to making money.
You're right.
So if you do anything, and of course, if you're a good comedian, you're probably gonna be pushing the boundary quite a bit. So
Sure.
like, but they say that like they get a lot more views on there. It's kind of like watching the news versus watching like TikToks. It's
Yeah.
like the news is like the established things. So like Netflix is now the because they were saying like HBO used to be.
Yep.
If you got an HBO special, like you made it.
Yeah.
But now it's like if you get a Netflix special, you could be like kind of a unknown comedian in the general world, and you can get a Netflix special. That doesn't really necessarily help you get ticket sales. I mean, people might see it, but they were saying that like taking your own, either making your own platform like YMH, Your Mom's House, you listen to that at all? I love that show. So, but they have their own network that they've built.
Right.
And Tom's been on, I mean, Tom has like 6 Netflix specials, so he doesn't need to make his own network, but they say that with their own network and with their own live shows, they are totally uncensored. They don't have to deal with anybody.
Sure.
They can do, and that's what comedy should be, is it should be uncensored, unfiltered, nothing's too far, which unfortunately, like in today's day and age, you know, with cancel culture, God forbid you say one thing and then you work a day job and then that comes back and then it gets you.
I don't know who's getting canceled. What is that even? I don't even know what that means.
So it's usually when
Because they all sell tickets after they get canceled. So what the fuck are you talking about?
I feel like it does the opposite in comedy.
Yeah,
Like
it's
people
like
are
in the
like,
80s.
oh, they're in
Feels the
trouble.
fire.
It's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
80s when they would be like the radio shock jock. They don't let us say what we want, and
Yeah.
everybody likes that person. It's the same shit, bro. I've never seen it. Who got canceled?
Yeah.
Louis C.K.
Yeah.
Didn't he just win?
Right, yeah, but then
Didn't
he just got back.
Hasn't he put out like several people like spending hundreds of dollars to attend theater shows to see
Right.
Louis
Right.
C.K.
Yeah.
I heard Chappelle got canceled, but like then I just see videos. I don't know how they took their phones, but videos made it out.
Yeah. I think
Where
it
he
fuels
sit,
it.
it's arena. It's a hockey arena full of people watching a guy sit on a stool and talk about how he can't say nothing.
Well, he also
Which is hilarious to think about.
I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
well, he had a Netflix special where he talked about how he talked about how Comedy Central stole his show from him, and
Yeah.
then how Netflix put it out without his knowledge. And then
Oh, I remember that. Yeah,
that was a YouTube video, and then Netflix bought him back.
that's wild.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. Because like he didn't need the money. I think he wanted to just make the point like you can't fuck with me kind of thing.
I can still pout, no matter how successful I am. I don't have time to feel sorry for Dave Chappelle. Sorry.
So other than Rocket Ship, do you have like your own socials for your comedy, or do you just kind of run it all through?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
It's just on OnlyFans.
It's not a career. It's not my career. Like
Okay.
I'm not. There's comedians that the old way was you work, you develop an
road.
act,
Yeah.
you work, develop, okay, I'm a middle act. Okay, maybe, okay, sometimes I get the headline, and and then now it's like, you may have to have an act, but if you have like enough followers, you can sell out a place and everyone will just,
No, I get
and that's
you.
okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. But I'm saying they're like the cats that I keep saying cats.
Yeah. You're old.
These
All
old
right.
dogs.
Oh man. Anyway,
We were at the Blues Bar back in the 50s.
I smoke a soft pack now. I don't even know what that means. Anyway, but like those people, there's certain people that when comedy changed to the numbers game, they already had an act, and they are struggled between like, do I embrace that and take myself seriously and get over how ridiculous I feel seeing, hey guys, I'm in front of a waterfall, come to Tuscaloosa this weekend. And it's like, you got to do that. They want you to do it. And it's like, you're taking yourself seriously. Or like doing Zoom shows during the pandemic. I didn't have to do that shit. Comedy's not my job, but it was their job, and they had to do it. And I will never do this.
So you think a healthier balance for you is to be more in that production part of it, and then also just have your own
life. I had to start. Comedy almost killed me. I went to Go Bananas, or I used to work at Go Bananas Comedy Club, but I was so into it.
Yeah.
And
you weren't living for yourself.
There's a bar next door, and I was very into that.
Yeah.
And I one day, so like I just came back here, like I say, in 2019, started working at Half Leader.
Right.
Just start over, and
Fresh start.
Just I'm almost a real person again.
I love it.
And I like myself a lot. Like my life is good right now with keeping comedy in its place.
Very cool. Well, I hear nothing but good things, especially from our friends like Kyle and stuff like that. And I know Rocket Ship has been kind of a staple for a lot of people. So congrats.
That's a nice thing. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. Do you have any? So we have the Rocket Ship. Does it have a website, or is it just on like Instagram?
It's socials. Rocket Ship Comedy is the Instagram. But the thing, and we have the Sunday show at Black Circle that we started 12 years ago. The one was at Sabbatical.
Yep.
It's been at Black Circle now for about 4 years. Every Sunday, free comedy show. And the main thing I have to say is Middle Ground Comedy Festival, April 25th through the 28th at Black Circle and at Half Leader. And we just got our submissions, all the comedians. We had over 200 submission
That's
videos.
amazing.
They're all sent to the judges. The judges are grading them. I'm not
Like
picking the
Simon?
people.
Yeah.
And last year we had 40. We would like to not have to take 40. But last year they were so good, we took. So anyway, there's going to be a bunch. It's going to be a good time. We're going to have a good shows. Al Jackson, Lace Larrabee, Tom Takar, Lucas Waterfill.
All right. So
Perfect.
And for that fest, is that all ages? Or is it 21 and up?
I mean, you can come in, yeah. It's all
Okay.
ages. I mean, but if you want to expose, no. But like, it's not like a bunch of filthy, awful. It's a bunch
Sure.
of great comics. Al Jackson is on Bob and Tom all the time. Lace
Yeah.
Larrabee was on America's Got Talent.
And is it a ticketed event or is it open to the public for free?
It is not free. It will be ticketed, but it's going to be in the favor of the attendee.
Cool.
We just have to value our project.
Okay.
And our, but we're not trying to make money.
And on the Sunday shows, what is the times? What time does that start?
It says 8, but it's always going to start by 8:30. We kind of wait for the crowd to develop, and everyone kind of knows that. It's been that way the whole time.
Okay. Very cool, man.
And it's fun. It's always good. Always good.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Sincerely, like it's great to have you on here, and hopefully we can, cross paths again. And I'd love to come to a rocket ship show. I need to do that.
fun.
It's been a minute.
Yeah,
so.
and I feel I'd like to see one of your shows that you were talking, the Freeform.
Yeah. We'll talk about that off air a little bit too. I actually think it'd be great if you wanted to come and host one. So.
Oh, guys, look at us. Seriously, thank you for having me. This is wonderful, and I feel good about myself right now.
That was the
For
goal.
now.
Yes.
Trick him.
All right. Until next time, everybody.
Cool.
Engine Room Recording Company, located in Broderpool Village just north of downtown Indianapolis, specializes in making your projects go. Podcasters, bands, audiobookers, rappers, singers, songwriters, and everyone in between, the Engine Room Recording Company has the experience, the engineers, the equipment, and the environment to fuel your projects. For more information on their services, creatives they've worked beside, and gear they use, visit them today at engineroomrecordingcompany.com and be sure to follow them on Instagram at Engine Room Recording Co.